a man, has been suspended after a video contradicts initial account. I'm Tyrone Bowman. This is Tyrone Bowman Tonight. According to USA Today, officers announced Wednesday that a Philadelphia police officer who fatally shot a 27-year-old man last week will be fired for administrative violations. The announcement comes after police walked back their initial narrative about the fatal encounter, and the attorney representing the family of the victim released a video that contradicted that account. Philadelphia Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw said Wednesday she has decided to suspend Officer Mark Dial for 30 days with the intent to dismiss him. Dial was not being terminated for fatally shooting Eddie Arizari on August 14, but for violating department policy related to the refusal to obey orders from a superior officer and failure to cooperate in any departmental investigation, Outlaw said. Police initially said last Monday that Arizari got out of his car after a brief car chase with a knife and lunged at officers prior to the fatal shooting. 2 days later, Outlaw told reporters that body camera footage made it very clear that what we initially reported was not actually what happened. On Tuesday, Arizari attorney Shaka Johnson released surveillance video of the incident, which showed an officer shooting into the driver's side of Arizari's vehicle seconds after getting out of his police vehicle. Johnson, who also represented the family of Philadelphia police shooting victim Walter Wallace Jr., said he and the Arizari family believe there was an intentional misleading of the public. What about what you just saw could ever be confused? As he got out of the car and lunged at police officers, Johnson asked at a news conference Tuesday. Not a single thing. That was an out and out, flat out lie. When asked about Johnson's comments, Outlaw said, "It's understandable that there's a lot of emotion involved in the situation," but she defended the department. Of course, she's going to always defend the department. Once it was brought to our attention that was misinformation that was put out there, we corrected it and we didn't have to do that. Justification. We discovered it ourselves and did what we could in a timely manner to make sure that that narrative was quickly addressed, she said. These people always want to make themselves look good, no matter what. That's a photo of the press conference. Johnson said he and the family were able to obtain surveillance video of the incident, which shows an officer shooting into the driver's side of Arizari's vehicle seconds after getting out of his police vehicle. Surveillance video released by Johnson shows Arizari driving over orange traffic cones as he pulls into a parking lot seconds later. A police vehicle pulls up next to his car. 2 officers get out, draw their weapons, and approach both sides of Arizari's car. The officers tell Arizari to show them his hands as Arizari appears to roll his window up. Then the officer on the driver's side, later identified as Mark Dial, appears to fire his gun into the car multiple times. The officer runs back toward the patrol car and reports that shots have been fired. The officers then attempt to open the doors of Arizari's vehicle. This is Commissioner Danielle Outlaw speaking on behalf of the police department. Officers said last week 2 officers spotted a Toyota Corolla driving erratically and followed the vehicle until it drove the wrong way down a one-way street and parked. She said the officer who approached on the passenger side attempted to open the door and alerted the officer on the driver's side that the man inside had a weapon. Outlaw said the man turned towards the officer on the driver's side, who then fired his weapon multiple times The driver was transported to a local hospital and pronounced dead. She said 2 knives were found inside the vehicle, a kitchen style knife and a serrated folding knife, according to Peter Marrero, a detective who was investigating the shooting. Officials said the initial narrative that was reported was called into police radio, and the body camera footage later contradicted that account. Outlaw said Wednesday the source of the initial information is still under investigation, and she's looking forward to finding out what the answer is. Outlaw previously said police gave the public the best information that we had available at the time. I understand and want to acknowledge the hurt and confusion that our family and community members can experience when details of investigations change, and especially when they change in a very public way, Outlaw said last week. Azari's family told the Philadelphia Inquirer he came to the city from Puerto Rico 7 years ago, and he did not speak or understand English. Outlaw told reporters last week she did not know if there was a language barrier between the officers and the driver. Johnson said Azari had no criminal record and struggled with schizophrenia. He said Azari, a mechanic, carried a pocket knife that he used for work. We need answers. Why? Zoraidi Garcia, Azari's aunt, told newspapers. Why is this officer still at home? He murdered my nephew. Body camera footage has not yet been released publicly, and Johnson told reporters Tuesday the family has not been able to view it. The authority to release the footage to the family or the public lies with the Office of District Attorney Larry Krasner, according to Avia Schwelmer, Director of Communications in the city's law department. Jane Rowe, a spokesperson for the District Attorney's Office, told USA Today the office has been in contact repeatedly with the Azari family's legal counsel. It intends to keep its sworn obligation to seek justice for all those involved in the fatal shooting of Mr. Azari, as well as for all those Philadelphians who are not directly involved but who care deeply about fairness, justice, and independence. I smell a trial coming on here. The district attorney is going to indict the soon-be fired officer, and then we'll see what happens after that. We still have more to say about the situation when we can do so consistent with preserving the quality and integrity of our independent investigation, she said in a statement. Outlaw said the investigation into the shooting itself and the inaccuracy of the initial account is ongoing, she said. Dow may face additional disciplinary charges if he violated additional department policies. Outlaw again acknowledged the difficulty of regaining the public's trust. She previously said her department is conducting a criminal investigation and working in parallel with the district attorney's office. Once we get a clearer picture, I will be able to say with certainty and make a determination whether or not they operated within policy of the department, Outlaw said last week. Azari's family and friends gathered on the street where he was killed Tuesday, again demanding that Dow be charged and they be allowed to view the body camera footage. The Inquirer reported the city's Citizens Police Oversight Commission, an independent agency, said its members have been monitoring the investigation into the shooting and recommended the department terminate Dial. Attorney Erase, the commissioner's interim executive director, told USA Today this marked the first time the commission has recommended the firing of an officer in its nearly year-long existence. He said the recommendation was made before he viewed the video released by Johnson and agreed it was a fairly big step. Erase said while the commission will be investigating the circumstances that led to the police department initially releasing incorrect information, he believes the department tried to be transparent quickly. There's a difference between wrong and rotten, right? He said. If you're asking me, I think it was a conspiracy to conceal information from the public. I don't think that it was. The Oversight Committee is hosting a virtual public meeting Wednesday night for concerned community members at the city's news conference. Oops, my bad, that already took place. Disregard that. I'm Tyrone Bowman. Never surrender, never quit.